Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. A little bit later on in the evening, but wanted to bring you a little bit of a practice report. The Colts had an evening practice, 6 p.m. practice here on a Saturday night, but wanted to kind of bring you a little bit of a recap before Sunday's practice for training camp. So, first bit of news, wanted to talk about the injury list for the Colts when it came to Saturday evening's practice. So obviously, DeForest Buckner, who got injured on Thursday, he injured his foot. He did not practice Saturday, although the Colts don't seem too concerned about his injury long term. Shane Steichen talked about it. He said, "We're just going to progress that and see where it's at." So that's definitely something that seems like the Colts are just being overly cautious with DeForest Buckner's toe, which at this point, right now in camp, you can afford to do that. Some other players who were not able to practice on Saturday, Mo Ali Cox dealing with an ankle. He was in a boot. Cornerback Kenny Moore was dealing with an ankle. Will Mallory dealing with a hamstring. He did not practice. Linebacker Cameron McGrone and DeForest Buckner. Obviously, guys, Zach Moss still out with the arm. Defensive end Samson Mabukum still out with the hamstring. Jelani Woods dealing with the hamstring as well. And linebacker Liam Anderson's dealing with an arm and a shoulder. Now, obviously, Jonathan Taylor and Tyquan Lewis still on the PUP list up to this point. They are still on that. But a couple pieces of good news. Obviously, Darius Rush practiced again today. Juju Brents had his first official practice in an Indianapolis Colts uniform. And obviously, he was dealing with that offseason wrist injury with that whole recovery process. And then he dealt with a hamstring injury at the beginning of training camp. And so it was good to see him out there for sure, getting these young corners that the Colts drafted, actually some experience out there. So he was the guy that definitely was good to see him back out there. Shaquille Leonard, again, was getting all the snaps. And this time he was back for the 11 on 11's full pack, which is something big. That was, we kind of said that was the natural progression for Shaq for the next bit. He hadn't really practiced up to this point with the 11 on 11's full pad. So that was kind of the next step in his kind of getting back to full strength. And this was the first time that he was able to do that. So two good things there when it comes to the injuries and getting some guys back, obviously, to practice with Brent and then Shaq back to full for the first time in a while. So good to see that. Shaq said it felt really good, to be cleared finally. And, this was kind of the final hurdle for him. So great to see that, he is getting there in terms physically. Now, obviously, Leonard has acknowledged like he needs to see more formations, more plays, kind of get back to becoming what he would label as the maniac, right? His other persona when it comes to being on the field. But he likes where he's at right now, Shaq said. And, he felt like last year when it came to the injury and all that stuff, he said, it almost felt like I was a different player at times, right? That wasn't the maniac out there. And this year, he's really encouraged with where he's at, and he's starting to get back to that form. A guy that's been an all-pro, been a Pro Bowl player pretty much every single year he has been healthy. He's been that guy. So Leonard added, he said, I'm starting to see somebody that resembles the guy that I used to know, right? He said, I'm building more confidence. I'm shooting through gaps. I'm getting in windows, stuff like that. That's what I want to see on film, and that's what I'm happy seeing right now. So good news on the injury front there for the Colts. When it comes to the quarterback situation, Gardner Minshew did take the 1 reps. Anthony Richardson took the 2s, but Anthony Richardson still was the highlight. He was really, I think it was his best practice by far as far as that. Obviously, the Colts practiced indoors because of some weather issues, but Richardson overall was really, really good, really, really efficient. And I think a lot of people would say it was the best game he's had or the best practice he's had so far throughout camp. He was 9 of 11 passes, 2 touchdowns, and showed a lot of accuracy. I know that was kind of one of the big concerns and has been a concern so far through training camp. But Richardson showed his best day in terms of accuracy and putting the ball where only his receivers can get it. So that was great. Now, obviously, Gardner Minshew worked with, the first team when it came to this practice. But Richardson still looked really good regardless of who he was with, so that's great. And one guy, a new addition, Amari Rogers, had a couple nice plays. Guy the Colts recently, signed off of the, just recently signed, a former third-round pick, was recently with Houston, and he had a couple screens that looked really good. And then Richardson threw a touchdown to Rashad Perriman as well. So it definitely seems like Richardson is really feeling himself. Josh Downs had a really good day from all indications. He looked really, really good. He looked like he was. So in the first 11 on 11, he had 2 catches in that one, made a few more plays on the 7-on-7 period. So a good day from the rookie receiver there. And, a guy that was just getting open, making contested catches, all that kind of stuff. And he was looking really good. Isaiah McKenzie made a good play as well with Sam Ellinger. So it seems like a lot of these, smaller receivers had pretty good days, all things considered. And then, with Minshew, I did mention he played with the first team. He was 9 of 12, had a scrambling play for Alec Pierce that looked like a touchdown. Rodney Thomas had a couple nice plays. He had a play where he blew up Isaiah McKenzie on a short throw. Linebacker Segun Alubi made a highlight play, has made some plays through training camp, a guy that nobody's really talking about, but a former third-round pick. He had some aggression. Him and Evan Hall kind of got into it a little bit. He laid a hit on Hall. They kind of got into it a little bit as well. Jalen Jones in the 7-on-7 had a couple nice plays as well. And so all in all, guys, I thought it was a pretty productive day, kind of seeing some of the things that you wanted to see from some of these young guys, especially obviously Richardson. Now, the big question remains, how does he look against the ones? But he did everything he needed to do against the twos, and that should be really encouraging. Seems like he's starting to get a little bit better in terms of the accuracy. A couple days ago during practice, he had a better practice coming back, than his first practice back from that nose surgery kind of thing that he had. So it seems like he's making some progressions, and again, we'll see to what degree does he do that. But overall, guys, seems like a pretty solid day of training camp. We're going to be out there tomorrow kind of seeing it. Hopefully the weather holds up. It seems like it should. We'll kind of give you an update. We'll see. Obviously our eye will be on who gets the first, who gets the second team snaps and all that. But going to be looking at guys like Josh Downs, going to be looking at some of these rookie corners who are now getting on the field as well, and kind of seeing how the snap count looks, and wherever they play, how do they look, right? Especially guys like Brents and obviously Darius Rush as well. So guys, looking forward to that. But just wanted to give you a quick update here before I head off to bed. Just giving you a quick update on the Colts Saturday evening practice. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Colts.